GC here, and we're back with a movie review. Whiplash, directed by Damien Chazelle. This is Damien's second film, and his previous film was by the name of Guy and Madeline on a Park Bench, and that too was also a jazz film. And this time around, he has a stellar cast, and once again, jazz stuff. So this movie has J.K. Simmons, and also Miles Teller, and that's basically everybody. I mean, there are other people, check them down below, but seriously, these two guys are like an entire movie. So what's this about? Well, it's about a young jazz drummer who goes to the most prestigious music school in the States, and he's trying to get on with the craziest, most famous maestro from the school, and he gets on. And he's like, yes, I'm golden, I can totally do this, and he tries his best to impress his maestro, but clearly, the maestro is really not normal and pushes people to the max, and he's intense and aggressive and just crazy. So what did I like? Well, first off, J.K. Simmons. If you watch the trailers or whatever, the news about this movie was his performance was spectacular and crazy. I'll have you know though, J.K. Simmons for me has always been Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man, and sure, he's been up in the air and he was great in that. He was Burn After Reading. He was just great, but for me, he never was a crazy role. I never knew the extent of his acting. So this movie, if you are like me, who has no idea how J.K. Simmons, like his acting ability whatsoever, watch this and you will be surprised or impressed or what have you, and just be wowed by his performance. So yes, this movie, his performance was just amazing. The aggression, the intensity, like, he did that in a humorous way in Spider-Man, but here it's intense. Like, it's like breathing down your back. Like, what is wrong with you? Can you not understand what I'm trying to convey here? As in, come on. Like it's really intense. Like, he was just wild and just great. Sure, there are slight, like, inferences, as in this is too exaggerated, but I really enjoyed his intense performance. Realistically, this entire film is an exaggeration of life. There's a lot of things that are just like, I don't think that could have happened, but the world that they build, the atmosphere, the drive, and the commitment to the cause, to this jazz, to this drumming, was just really great. Miles Teller was great in this, where he gave a great performance in terms of just really selling the commitment and his drive, like I was saying, and you really believe him, despite all these things happening. You're like, no way, that can't happen. Okay, that's just nuts. I had all these thoughts as I was watching this, but I felt convinced that this kid who was just dying, literally dying to drum, to impress J.K. Simmons, he would do all sorts of things. And I was convinced, and I was really surprised that so many things happened, yet I was like, yeah, totally, sure. Go ahead. I just want to see him committed and just keep driving forward and climbing the next step and seeing what J.K. Simmons is gonna throw at him next. And it was just great. Like, the performance from these two guys was just amazing. J.K. Simmons was just totally, like, see the trailers, it's only a sliver of what he's delivering. And Miles Teller, at first I thought, oh, he's gonna be drowned out by J.K. Simmons. I would say he gave a good performance. So there's that. So Miles Teller held his own, wasn't overshadowed by J.K. Simmons. And basically the plot itself is pretty simple, as in like a kid who goes to school, learns jazz band, tries to be a good drummer, and tries to impress a teacher. That's basically the entire film. That's the story. I'm not sure if you have to be a jazz fan. I don't think you do, because I'm not a jazz fan, or I don't really listen to jazz in general, but I have an appreciation of just good music. And just seeing the commitment of the band, how they work together in terms of just skills and just really delivering a great piece. And I think anyone that has an ear for music, just music in general, would appreciate this music. It's not going to turn you off. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, this music is horrible. But I think it's just great. So I'm just great that Whiplash came out, and it was just great show of just commitment and drive, and just this acting ability from J.K. Simmons. There aren't really complaints here, except maybe the over exaggeration of everything that's happening, and just slight underdevelopment of some relationships. Like, I would say his relationship with his parents and his family was spot on, as in, you didn't need to know. He just hated them because they were upstuck and just like they cared about themselves more than him. And that was good. I really enjoyed that whole family business. But I just felt that they could have put a little bit more development into the relationship with him and his girlfriend. And I think that would have been an interesting, more of a step back into like, no, he has this side. But I guess they're trying to convey that he doesn't have this side, where he's really committed to this whole jazz drumming and that's all he has. And I get it. I just wish that there was that. But, I mean, I see why they did it now that I'm saying it out loud. So, yeah, I definitely recommend Whiplash. Definitely for those that enjoy drumline. Sure, it's totally not on the same scale whatsoever. But if you enjoyed the drumline performances, I would say you would enjoy the performance in Whiplash as well. And just going into the commitment, the drive, and the practice, and just, like, the intensity of the entire film is just great. And once again, J.K. Simmons was great and amazing, and he really should just be in more movies, because he really shouldn't be a side supporting actor. I realize that's most of his roles, where he's just like there, and then he's done sort of thing. I sort of wish that he was in the main cast. I think that's the biggest thing, is that he needs to be in the main cast. Now, in terms of directing, I would say it was just great. He really captured the essence of the practice and the drive, the words that I'm repeating throughout this review. It was just really intense. The way that he filmed it was very up close and personal, and it just was just great. I'm like, wow, this guy's second movie, that's just impressive. Definitely, I would check him out, whatever future features he has. And it was awesome. Like, he really knew how to really go up to the personalness of like the whole commitment and just the relational between J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, like the intensity. The intensity, I swear, I'm not going to stop using that word, but seriously, Whiplash is intense. So that's basically it. If you have seen Whiplash, leave a comment down below and get back to you as soon as possible. And that is all for this movie review of Whiplash. Out.